Hello there YouTube, this is PolarBear084 here, back with another episode of A Bear's Guide to Hunting. And today we take on our second Titan, the Lao Shan Lung. And he is a variant of your typical Lao Shan Lung that you will have fought in the Village Elder quests. And because he's part of the guild, he not only has more health because of that, but he also has a little bit more health because he's a variant as well. So we're going to take pretty much everything in here except the ballista shots. And the reason for that is that there is a place you can actually gather them right here. And the reason that you don't want to take any from the chest is that you want to gather as many as you can from here until you can not gather any more, really. And that way you make sure that none of these go to waste. Because if you grab the 8 from the chest, you'll only be able to get 2 from here. But if you grab as many as you can from here, then you'll still have an extra 8 waiting for you in the chest. It's a nice little way of kind of getting a little bit more damage out, although the game was very rude and only gave us 5 anyway. But let's go find Lao Shan Lung, shall we? So, while we're waiting for him to enter Area 2, let's talk about our equipment. We have the Wyvern Blade Blood, which is exactly what we used to fight Shen Gaoren. And we're still using our Rathalos Azure armor, which is also exactly what we used to fight Shen Gaoren. If you haven't seen that video, I would recommend it. It's up in the top right if you want to go check that out. It gives you kind of a good idea of the area that you'll be fighting Lao Shan Lung. And it also gives you a good idea of the kind of tactics you need to use on these larger creatures, especially when you're fighting them alone, which you will be for most of these, pretty much all of these. So yes, we are using Rathalos armor. For those of you who don't know, I am using the cap, which only gives me half the defense of the other armor in the set, but it gives me an extra slot, which allows us to have not only Attack Up Large and Earplug, which we already had with the armor, but also Reckless Abandon +1. Actually, the armor only gives us Attack Up Medium. We bumped that to Large, and Reckless Abandon +1, which gives us an extra 10% affinity on all of our weapons, which is incredibly useful. For those of you who don't know what affinity is, I did an explanation of it in the Rathalos and Rathian video, which will also be up there if you want to take a look at that. It is a pretty good one. But a brief explanation is affinity is how you are able to perform critical hits. And the affinity percentage is the chance that you will be able to do a critical hit. Alright, so we're waiting for Lao Shan Lung to come in here. He's taking quite a while. So we're going to lay... There he is. So he's somewhat in this direction. So we're going to lay a bomb here. And we're going to lay a bomb here. And what we're going to do is we're going to wait for him to walk over us. And while we're waiting for that, let's apply our Demondrug and our Armorskin. Also, as far as items that we brought ourselves, you may notice that we bought pretty much everything we usually do. Demondrugs, Armorskins, potions, Powercharms, that kind of stuff. But we also bought bombs and power seeds and armor seeds. And then everything we got from the chest. And that will become apparent very soon. Although it might be apparent already just due to his size. You need a lot of damage to take down this guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for him to pass over these bombs, and we're going to blow them up on his chest. And his chest is the area where he takes the most damage. You can hit him in the head, you can hit him on his feet, you can even hit the tail, although I would very much not recommend that. Oh look, he noticed us. But the area he takes the most damage on is his underbelly, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. So we're going to wait for his underbelly to be hanging right over these. We'll basically wait until his rib cage is here, and then we will go ahead and plant our bomb. We will light the fuse, as it were. So another couple of steps, if you would. Alright, we're going to light our bomb. And what we do is we walk away a little bit. That certainly hurt. And then we're going to start attacking. And the reason we have a longsword is that it gives us the spirit gauge boost that we have here. We just got it there. You may notice we have kind of red floating around us now. It gives us a small attack boost, which is very useful in pretty much all fights. And it also gives us the ability to not bounce as much as we normally do. I believe what it does is it effectively increases our sharpness by 1 level. So it's effectively treating us like we have blue sharpness, even though we only have green. I believe that's how that works, but I will check on that. I will put that in Bear's Broken Brain in the description, as I usually do. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to stay away from the feet, because just like Shen Gaoren, he can do quite a lot of damage to us from them. And we're just going to really want to take as many hits as we can on this stomach of his. In fact, one thing we're going to do is we're going to eat one of our seeds. Here we go, power seed. So the thing about these seeds is that you may think that refining them into a Demondrug is better, and in one way, you're right. The Demondrug lasts for about 15 minutes in a fight, as far as I can tell. Or actually, no, I believe it lasts the whole fight. My mistake, apologies. Demondrug lasts the whole fight unless you die, whereas Power Seed is time limited. It lasts about 3 minutes, but it increases your attack by quite a lot. We now have 1,000 attack, whereas before I believe we had 900 and I think 40. So this is going to allow us to really pile the damage onto this Elder Dragon, onto this Titan as it were, and that's exactly what we have to do here. Just like the Shen Gaoren, it's a race to the finish. We have 35 minutes to put in as much damage as we can. That's a good sign. We're going to keep wailing away here. Although, maybe we shouldn't have, because we got a little greedy and he punished us for it. Alright, we want to be away from that foot when he steps. We should probably eat our armor seed as well, which will increase our defense to 329, which is nice. The seeds, much like the drugs, are based... sorry, let me try again. The seeds, as well as the drugs, are a multiplier, not a flat rate of increase. So if you have more attack, it will increase your attack more than if you had less attack. So we went from, I believe, 920 to 1,000 attack, but we only went from 292 defense to 329. And the reason for that is we had a lot less defense than we had attack. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're waiting for him to attack the bridge. There he goes. And what we're going to do, once he's attacked the bridge, is we're going to place this anti-dragon bomb on his back. In fact, we're going to place both of them. There are 2 areas where you can place anti-dragon bombs. Area 2 and Area 4, as you can see, they're both identical on the map. They both have bridges, and they will both present you with this opportunity. But the reason I'm going to plant them both here is so that we don't have to go through this again. Because right now what we're doing is not attacking Lao Shan Lung. Which means we're not piling damage in as quickly as we could. So we're going to jump on his back, we're going to plant both these bombs, and then we're going to go back to our cycle of attacking the stomach and avoiding the legs. And that's pretty much what we can do. What you're going to want to be aware of is these boulders, these spontaneously magically appearing boulders. He knocks them down as he's walking, and they will knock you off of landing on his back, and you definitely don't want that. So what you're going to want to do is place both of the bombs. It may not look like they're both there, but they are. You can kind of see the textures upset there. Alright, and that hurt him a lot, and that's exactly what we want. So now we're going to get back underneath him, and we're going to build up our spirit gauge and get back to work. You may ask, why am I not attacking the head? There's no feet to worry about over there. Well, you're not wrong, but the reason we're not attacking the head is twofold. One, the head does not take as much damage as the stomach. So we want to make sure, even though I was hitting mostly the foot there, that we're hitting the stomach at all times. The other reason we're not attacking the head is that we want to make sure that we save attacking that for Area 5. It is very easy to make him flinch by attacking his head, to the point that if you keep attacking it, he might not make it to Area 5. But when he gets to Area 5, you want to be able to make him flinch easily so you can interrupt his attacks, and therefore prevent him from doing as much damage to the fort. So the reason I'm attacking the stomach more than anything else is because the stomach is the best place to attack until you get to Area 5. Alright, so we're taking some damage here. We're going to run to the left area here because he's now leaving the area, as you can see. And we're going to just stay on this left wall so we can avoid the tail. Because as you can see, stepping on me did a lot of damage, and the tail does just as much. So for this fight, you are going to want to make sure that you have 150 health. And there are a few ways you can do that, the best of which is using the chef's kitchen, the Felyne Kitchen that you have connected at your house. If you don't have 4 felines at this point, I would recommend getting them now. 5, sorry. If you don't have 5 felines at this point, get them now. Because you can eat a Kirin cheese and a golden fish brew to get 50 health and 50 stamina at the beginning of the quest. And the stamina is neither here nor there, but the health is incredibly important. Because the only other ways you can increase your health in a quest is to eat mega nutrients, which are quite expensive to make. You need to make nutrients, then use honey, which is a resource I feel like we're all low on in these games, to turn that into a mega nutrient, and you need to use roughly, I think, 5 of them to get your health to 150. So that's quite a lot of resources. The other thing you can do is you can make a max potion, which is a yellow kind of pill, looks like a pill, and it heals your health to full. So you could be at 1 health, you eat it, and it would expand your health bar to 150 and then fill it. So that's the other way you can do that. While I'm talking, I'm going to plant a couple of large barrel 1+s for our dear friend here. So you're definitely going to make sure you have 150 health. The best and easiest way to do that, like I said, is the Felyne Kitchen. Eat a golden fish brew and a Kirin cheese with 5 felines, and you will get 50 health and 50 stamina. There is a wiki page that kind of explains the breakdown for how many chefs you have and what you need to eat and what that gives you, but I really only ever eat that mixture. The other mixture you can do are 2 fish, which I usually do hairy tuna and 100-year crab, and that gives you attack up large, but the problem with that is it doesn't stack with your regular bonuses. See, our attack is down to 900 again? That's because the seed has worn out, but we can reapply it now. Our attack went from 907 to 955, which is pretty good. And when we get our boosts from the spirit gauge, we'll be back to 1000 again, which is a noticeable difference. I think you'll agree. Alright, we want to get away from the tail, because he swings the tail as he walks, and when it swings, it does a lot of damage. Also sends you flying for quite a long time, which means you are left not attacking the stomach, which is very much what you want to be doing. Alright, need to stop attacking the tail and bouncing off. That's just wasting sharpness and time. So you can see that the biggest difficulty in this fight is really just keeping yourself in front of his stomach and getting the damage in. Because it only takes a couple of steps, and already I'm hitting his tail instead. Alright, let's see if we can't get back to his stomach here, his rib cage. The wind press off of the pressure off of the feet is quite annoying. Also, the camera isn't helpful at all either. Alright, he's staggered, which meant that he unfortunately landed on us. But it does mean that he's slowed down, which is exactly what we want. Alright, so we're going to keep hitting his stomach here. He's going to attack that wooden palisade up there, and we're going to let him. There's not really much we can do about it. So we're just going to let that happen. We're going to just take the time to get some damage in on his stomach here. Alright, weapon power has decreased, which means we're going to want to sharpen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stand here, which should be pretty much safe of the quakes and his footsteps. And now we're going to go back in. Thankfully, we still have our spirit gauge, so that's good. We still have that huge attack boost. Alright, his ramming of the palisade doesn't do damage to us, which is nice. But it does mean that he can step on you, which does do damage. So it's kind of it's a mixed bag, really. Alright, so we're going to move out of his way now. He's progressing to the next area, and so should we. Oh, watch out for the tail. I'm going to run past now. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to heal on the bed between areas, and that's definitely something you don't want to overlook. You can waste a lot of first aid meds or mega potions to heal yourself, but you do have to wait for him to get into the area before you can start attacking anyway, so you might as well take the time and use the free healing that you have in the camp. Since all roads to the areas start here, you're going to be coming through here enough that this is a perfectly fine justification to do this. Alright, so let's go ahead and eat a ration while we're at it. And our seed just ran out right there. See how little it lasts? But it is a lot of damage. It is very useful. And this is the problem with Lao Shan Lung, is that it is very much a race, a damage race. You have to just get as much damage as you can in as quickly as you can. And so every little advantage you can get makes a huge difference. Barrel Bomb pluses are good. What you could do is bring a couple of Booker combos and upgrade these large barrel bombs to barrel bomb pluses out in the field. But I am quite full on items already. I guess I don't need the map, but since this is a guide, I want you to be able to see the map at all times, even though it's pretty much, there's only one way you can really go. But it's pretty. My inventory is pretty full. So bringing a whole set of bomb-making materials wasn't really something I could do on this quest. So, but this is very much what you need to do. You're very much waiting on Lao Shan Lung a lot of the time, and then it becomes an all-out attacking frenzy. So you just have to be very mindful of the time and how quickly he's approaching Area 5. Because he can put in a lot of damage in a very short space of time. It may not seem like it right now, but when he's in Area 5, he starts attacking a lot more quickly. He attacks quicker than he walks, let's put it that way. Alright, so we're going to wait for this again to be right underneath his ribcage, and we're going to light the fuse. Again, we're avoiding his head, he doesn't take as much damage there, and we want to save those flinches for Area 5. Where we can use the Dragonator, cannons, and anything else of that nature, and ballistas. Alright, so keep walking, keep going. Come on, you got this. Just a little more. Do it. Alright, and then we go back. We go back to attacking. I don't have my seed equipped, which is costing me 50 attack per hit, so we're going to... Now that we've got the gauge filled up, we're going to walk in front of him, eat the seed, and then now we're at, 1003, which is pretty good. That's a lot of base damage, which is not including our elemental advantage either, I don't believe. This is the main reason I chose the Azure Rathalos set, is just the earplugs are useful, but the main use is the sheer amount of attack damage you can get out of it. That does happen too. Sometimes he'll stagger, and thankfully, he'll put you right by his back left foot. Although most of the time he'll be standing, he'll be ready to step. So it's less of a blessing and more of a curse, really. We don't have the time to wait around to heal, so we're just going to pop a Mega Potion and get back to it. Again, this is a race. We only have 35 minutes to put as much damage as we can into this creature. You are not going to be able to kill it. This is a guild quest, which means it was designed for at least 2 players, if not 4. So you aren't going to be able to kill Lao Shan Lung, but what you can do is repel him. Much like we did with Shen Gaoren, we will put enough damage into him so that he will reconsider being here, and then he will leave. And he's currently going around the corner, so his pathing is a little difficult to predict. So be careful around the corners in 2 and 4. Because it can kind of put you in a situation you really don't want to be in, which is by the tail or right underneath his foot somehow. As you can see, I'm already close to his tail again. The wind pressure is honestly the most irritating thing that he does, I think. Alright, so he's making his way to the bridge. This time we won't be going up there. We don't need to. We actually have used both our anti-dragon bombs, so there's no need for us to be up there. What we are going to do is sharpen if we can. Beautiful. Alright. Because we were at yellow sharpness, which means we were about a couple of hits away from orange sharpness, which means we would be bouncing off every hit, even with a full spirit gauge, and we want to avoid that. Because bouncing attacks don't do as much damage, and they use your sharpness even more, which is very not good, and wastes time, because we can't get a full combo off either. As you can see, bouncing is an animation that takes a lot of your time and does not pay off, obviously. So you want to try and avoid how many times you do that if you can. Alright, we staggered him again. We managed to avoid getting hit by him collapsing, which is good. So you want to see if you can get at least 1 stagger per area, but if you can manage 2, that is pretty much exactly how you want to be doing this fight. That's going to hurt. Alright, wind pressure, I can live with that. Alright, has he just gone right underneath the bridge? I believe he has. Alright. I believe maybe because we weren't up there, perhaps? He didn't bother to try to attack up there. Alright, I think we actually staggered him by his tail, which is interesting. It's good, but it's also not great, because it means we've been spending too much time by the tail. And as you can see, that's not a good thing. Alright, we're going to run past his foot that he just walked with to avoid peril, and we're going to run back to camp. You can see how much, well, at least I thought you could. You can see how wide the tail swings. It basically covers the whole area. That's why you have to hug the wall on your way out. Alright, so we're going to go back to camp, we're going to heal there, and then we're going to use a power juice, because we're going to carry a cannonball to Area 5. And the reason we're going to do that is so that we can at least open up with a good amount of damage. The cannonballs do a decent amount of damage on hit, but not as much as you can do by attacking with a longsword with spirit gauge, or a hammer, for example. It's deceptive. The cannonballs seem like they should be a good payout for the difficulty it takes to move them around, but they really aren't. The amount of time you spend moving from 5 to base and back to 5, it just takes too long. It takes far too long for it to actually be a useful strategy. So we're going to head to Area 5. We have to go through Area 6 first, which means we have to get around these Eye of Prey. If you watch the Shen Gaoren video, then you already know this, but these Eye of Prey are going to desperately try and break your cannonball. You're going to want to keep eye contact with them as long as you can, but you also want to make sure you're running in the right direction. And you should be able to make it past with your cannonball unscathed. If they hit you, it's just like when you're carrying an egg and you get hit, you'll drop it and you'll be sent flying. So try to avoid that, because again, it wastes time. A lot of what we're trying to do here is not waste time. However, saying that, now we wait, because Shen Gaoren, Lao Shan Lung is on his way here, but he takes his merry time about it. But this is pretty much the strategy you want to use. Now, here's the problem with Lao Shan Lung. He has so much health, especially Guild Lao Shan Lung, that this strategy still might not work 100% of the time. It's very dependent on how many attacks you can get in, how many times you can stagger him between areas, how many bombs you're able to bring, how long you have the spirit gauge. It can vary quite surprisingly. This is the best strategy that I can find. This is the best strategy that I can think of. But it's not 100%. You can try the strategy and still fail. And that's okay. Because I think everybody who has played this game, I can't think of a single person who plays this game who hasn't failed at least once. Especially on a landmark creature Titan style fight like this. That's fine. You just have to try again. In fact, while recording this, I have failed this quest with this strategy. It's the best strategy out there, but he has so much health that it is still not 100% win rate. It's like magic, it's about a 70% win rate, which is very good, but it's not perfect. But that does mean that if you think of any improvements, if you find any advancements you can think of, please tell me. But remember, the whole point of A Bear's Guide to Hunting is to fight these creatures with the equipment you have available to you when you first encounter them, when you have to deal with them. This cannon's going to land roughly at the edge of the mist, so we can shoot it now. We'll hit him right on the back. And he did not like that. But the whole point of this series is to fight these creatures as you have to fight them when you are playing the game. So you won't have access to Z rank, Z armor from G rank. You won't have access to a lot of things that would make this fight a lot easier because you haven't done it yet. So while you are suggesting strategies that might improve it, be aware of the context. You know, this is one of the first more difficult fights you will deal with, and it is very, very tricky. But perseverance is key, right? I mean, you just keep trying. But anyway, here we are in Area 5. He is going to roar. I don't think you can block that even with high-grade earplugs. I'd be surprised if you could. But as you can see, we have 2 cannons, we have 2 ballistas, we have this giant red button in the center, which you do want to press, but you want to wait for the right moment. We have only 10 minutes left, and the fortress is at 100%. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to try to prevent Lao Shan Lung from attacking the fortress. Alright, is he going to stand up? Nope. Should be on the Dragonator. Is he going to do it again? He's standing up, right? He's standing up. Okay. So, when he stands up, he roars, but it doesn't, for some reason, make you cower. I'm not entirely sure why. So when he stands up, you're going to want to make sure you shoot the head, which is easier said than done with this setup. But if you shoot the head enough, he will stagger. His head is very susceptible to being shot. As most people's heads are, actually, now that I say that out loud. But his head is very susceptible to being shot, so aim for that, and it will stagger him and knock him out of his attack. Which is what you want to do to make sure that he doesn't destroy the fortress. Alright, we're grabbing our extra 2 ballista. And the reason that the ballista are worth going back for, you can use a Farcaster, it is slightly quicker. But the reason it's worth going back for is that you're not carrying a heavy cannonball, so you aren't slowed down. Alright, I believe he's going to attack, maybe? Alright, we press this. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to time it for right when he attacks. And it should hit him twice. It's very tricky to do, but right before he hits, you want to do it. Hit the button, and it should stagger him and hit him twice. Alright, so he is not playing nice, so we're just going to get down here and we're going to start attacking him. He's going to stand up. The nice thing about him standing up, it makes it very much easier to hit the stomach. The difficult thing about him standing up is that it is difficult to actually stay in the right area without getting trod on. Mainly because you are hitting the base of his tail as well as his stomach. Alright, weapon power decreased. Alright, so we're going to want to sharpen a little bit. Maybe he'll let us. Alright, fort integrity is decreasing relatively quickly, so we want to see if we can stop him doing that, maybe. That would be nice. Alright, so we're going to run back in here and we're going to do what we've been doing, which is attacking the stomach area with as much damage as we can provide. So the Dragonator does do a lot of your work for you. It is very helpful. Alright, let's see if we can't get in the right position to maybe get a spirit combo off. Alright, we're going to keep hitting him. Alright, let's keep piling damage in here. Again, he takes the most damage on his stomach, so this is where you want to hit him. You could shoot him with the ballista, that does help. It does prevent him from attacking the fortress as many times as he did. Fortress still says it's at 70% integrity, which is interesting. Maybe he's trying to hit us, but it's not working, which is okay by me. It does look like when he slams to the ground it should hurt you. Thankfully, it doesn't. Alright, he's roaring again. This will kill a lot of your time in Area 5, which is a real problem, because this is the last chance you have to pile in the damage you need to do. Alright, so let's get into the right position, and let's go. We'd love to actually stagger this creature if we could. Alright, I'm trying to kind of... There we go. Nope. And we got wind blasted by his foot. Alright, let's keep doing this, shall we? Really do not seem to be hitting him enough, which is a very big concern. Like I said, this strategy works, but it's not 100%. Wind pressure. Every time, I'm telling you. The fact we're not getting staggers out of him is kind of reassuring, because it does tell me that we've been doing a lot of damage to him on his way to Area 5, to the point that he might not even be staggerable anymore. Or at least on his stomach, but we're still going to keep attacking it. Alright, we got hit again. Fort integrity is still 70%, which makes me think that that readout is not correct. It might be though, he might be trying to attack us and missing, which is okay by me. Alright, more wind pressure. If you can get wind pressure negate, that is kind of helpful. But again, you're in a race against damage, really. You need to be doing... There we go. There's the stagger we've been wanting. Nice. Fort integrity. 60%. Okay, so it is updating. He was trying to hit us and missing, which is good. That's good to know. I want to hit his stomach, not his rib cage. Alright, nice. I don't know what that flickering's about. I apologize. That doesn't usually happen. That's interesting. That's very interesting. What is even happening? Like, where is he right now? He's not even facing the fort. Is he trying to attack us? He's doing a terrible job if he is. I'm okay with that. Last thing I want to do is get hit by this giant dragon. Is he hitting the fort? No, he's not hitting the fort. I think he is just desperately trying to hit us, and it's not working out for him. So that nearly hit us, though. So we need to not be too, confident, I guess. Okay, let's keep hitting his stomach. Maybe we can hit him, stun him again. I probably need to reapply the, yes I do. Reapply the power seed, please. An extra 50 damage does a lot. Alright, that's him hitting the fortress again. That's okay, because he hasn't really been hitting it that much. Alright, he's going to stand up and roar, I believe. Yep. Spirit gauge combo, please. Alright, we are running out of time and sharpness. And wind press is very not helping. I'm going to sharpen with a real whetstone. Real whetstones, if you don't know, they recover more sharpness than a small whetstone, but they take longer. So, you know, there are things to be... It's not always good to use a small whetstone. That's what I'm trying to say, in as many words. Keep hitting his stomach. Keep hitting it. And when you run out of stamina, keep hitting it anyway. This same strategy works for pretty much any Blade Master situation. Let's check our time remaining. We have 2 minutes 22 seconds. That's interesting. I didn't plan that at all. Alright, but the it works for any Blade Master, really. Especially, I would say, dual blades. You get pretty much any sword can reach his stomach, but again, the sharpness bonus from the longsword and the spirit gauge is very, very useful. I would love to be hitting his stomach here. Alright, we got to move back. Again, the positioning takes a lot of time, and then the wind press takes even more of your time. There we go, this is what we want. If I could prevent even one of his attacks right now, I'd be very happy. There we go, that's what we want to see. So we staggered him, so he's not going to attack. He's going to come back down to ground. That's what you want to try to do. But I'm not stopping here, I'm just going to keep hitting him until he dies. Well, he's not going to die, until he leaves. Alright, I believe that we are doing enough damage here. I think he might leave. We might be repelling him. Again, I think the power seeds do make the difference. When I tried this before, I didn't use the power seeds. That 50 damage makes I mean, it's 50 each hit, you've got to remember. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're hitting him as much as we are, it does make a difference. Every single edge you can get on this guy, you need. Because he's a Titan. Again, designed to be fought by 2, 3, 4 people, not by 1. Soloing these guys is not easy, but it is doable with the right strategy. And that strategy is hit this man in his stomach until he gets upset about it and leaves. Alright, wind pressure again. The clock is flashing red. That means we are under a minute left. Which means it's time to just kind of throw caution to the wind and just wail on him. We keep hitting him, and he keeps hitting the fortress. We keep hitting him until that timer, there we go, is at 0. He's very mad. He's very upset. And he deserves to be, because, like I said, this is not the first time I recorded this episode. The last time, he beat me. This right here, this is the star of the show. The Power Seed. It's better than you think it is. It gives you a large proportional benefit, and you can grow them in the poker farm, so you can have an infinite supply. They don't last long, but for fights like this, where you know exactly where the creature is, and it's just a long duel between the two of you, they are immeasurably useful. So that's the strategy. That's Lao Shan Lung. You can use this exact same strategy on the other variant of Lao Shan Lung, the original Lao Shan Lung, in the Village Elder quests. It's a very arduous fight. It can take a lot out of you. It is difficult, for sure. It may look like you're just doing the same fight, the same attack over and over again in the same area, but there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot to keep track of, but it is doable. And I think as far as strategies go, this is the best one that I think you can use against Lao Shan Lung. It's certainly the best I've found, certainly the best that I can think of. I can't think of one that is better. So use this, beat this guy, and get to the next set of quests. But I hope this helped you. I really do. These ancient stones can be used for some very interesting weapons. They're very cool. These scales are going to come in handy, and I'll explain that in the next video. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you can see that. Next video is going to be fun. We're going to be going back to our favorite couple, couple of Monster Hunter, the Rathalos and the Rathian, but this time they're wearing their wedding best and they look great. So that will be next weekend. So subscribe so that you can see that. If you did like the video, if this helped you, if you enjoyed it, if I made you chuckle even once, I mean that would be a feat. But if I did, go ahead and like it. It lets more people find these videos, get these tips and tricks, maybe kind of beat the same monsters that we're all struggling with in these games. And if there's anything you want me to improve, if there's anything you particularly enjoyed about this video, tell me, let me know. I'm always happy to talk about that kind of stuff. I do want to make these videos better as I go along, and the best way I can do that is with your feedback. So go ahead and let me know. But that's going to do it. Like I said, I hope this helped you sincerely. This can be a difficult fight, but it's not impossible. So, I hope this helps. Again, sorry, I've said it a lot of times, but I really do. And happy hunting.